How to prepare for interviews. This is one of the famous questions that I get quite a lot, and most of the forums, most people are asking this question: how do you handle a technical interview? In this video, I'm basically going to be going through a series of technical questions that you're likely going to encounter in an interview, and how best can you be able to answer such a question. Please bear in mind that this is just a recommendation. I'm not saying that the answers that I'm going to provide are final, but it probably gives you a scope of how best you can be able to approach such questions in an interview. So to kick off our video, I am going to be looking at interview questions that are offered by Exams Digest. I've done a video or a review about their platform, and one of the key things that I really liked about their site was their interview questions. So I'm just going to pick up two or three, and we're going to basically elaborate and break them down to be able to help you prepare for your interview, right? So the first question is, what is the largest size network you've engineered? If I were to get such a question, right, two things come to mind. Number one, they want to know the size of the network. But why do they want to know the size? Because from the size, they're going to be able to assess my competency. But the second component is, from the size of the network, they're going to be able to see, to kind of gather what technologies I've dealt with in a particular network. So what am I saying and how can I break it down? Now, if I gave an answer that the largest network that I've managed is 50 users, that probably fits in the scale of a small organization. And obviously, if you're in a small organization, you are not going to use certain infrastructure because the organization is small. But if I've managed a network that's got 500 plus users, there are certain technologies and expectations that are anticipated of me managing such a network. So what they're trying to gather is, where do you stand in the spectrum of technologies? How best can you answer such a question? Now, there are multiple ways. You could probably give a straightforward answer. The largest network that I've managed had 50 users. Then you keep quiet. Fantastic. But is it the best answer? Maybe, maybe not. My preference is always try and give answers that are open-ended. Answers that basically prompt further questioning. So what do I mean? I can basically say the largest network that I managed had 300 users, and 50% of our staff were located across 10 remote branches that connected to our headquarters through VPN. I've answered the same question. I've given the number of end users, but I've gone further to show the person who's interviewing that not only did I manage a network with 300 people, but I had 10 remote branches that I was taking care of, and all those branches were coming via VPN. Now that prompts someone to then say, tell me more about the VPN side, or tell me more about the WAN devices that you're utilizing in such a network, right? So that then kicks a conversation beyond a simple, straightforward answer. So where possible, try and give as much information to be able to allow them to ask you further about that question. So that's basically the way that I would answer such a question. So let's look at question number two. Let's look at question number two. Says, can you walk me through your troubleshooting process when you aren't getting the expected performance out of your network configuration? This is a loaded question, because for me, they're trying to get your situation awareness. If things are not working out, how do you troubleshoot? What's your troubleshooting process? Do you throw in the towel and walk away? Or you got a methodology that you basically apply as you're trying to resolve problems? That's the overarching component of what they're asking for. How can you respond to such a question? One way is giving a scenario, because a scenario is easier to explain. Give an example, right? Example might go something along the lines. The last time I encountered something that was challenging, all our 10 remote sites went offline at the same time. I looked at our BGP peerings, and it seemed from the data center side, our connections were fine with the ISP. However, as I went further troubleshooting the process, I realized that the remote sites seemed to have dropped their connectivity into the MPLS network with the ISP. How then did you resolve it? So we noticed that, I don't want to go too technical, right? But you get where I'm coming from. So by answering in such a way, I'm walking you through, number one, the challenge that I encountered. And then I'm walking you through how I solved the problem and how I was responsible for solving the problem. So in this case, you're giving someone a holistic picture of how you would troubleshoot, which allows them to put you in their organization and try and see how you basically fit, as a candidate. So when you're getting asked questions, just try and ask yourself, what is the bigger picture that they're looking for, and how can you respond going back? And if you look at the last response that I gave, it opens up a further conversation to say, oh, by the way, how did you solve it? Right? Then I say, oh, we then realized that there was a default route issue that had been configured when we were building the infrastructure and was not failing over as expected. You're given your example and how you were involved in the process and how you resolved the problem. And that together kind of then helps for them to formulate a picture about you as a person and how you deal with problems. Right. So I'm just going to kick off one last question. I don't want to make these videos long. I just want to keep them short and simple so that we can be able to follow through. So the last question is, I'll just pick a random question. What is spanning tree used for? Now, this one, it's either you know or you don't, right? So it's a simple, straightforward. What is spanning tree used for? Spanning tree is used for preventing loops. When a question is closed, as this question is, please don't start telling a story. Just answer, spanning tree is used for preventing loops on a network. Done, right? When you get a closed question, just give a straightforward answer. When you get an open question, just take enough time to be able to answer the question. If you have any questions that you have that you want me to tackle, or you've got any website that you feel has got good interview questions, please let me know in the comments below. I will more than gladly go through and be able to share and record videos and be able to help you in your interview process. And if there's any other areas that you feel will be of value, please let me know. I am more than glad to be able to look at them. The whole objective is to help you gain confidence and to be able to perform well in your interview. I hope you found value in this video. I want to thank you for viewing, and I'll see you in the next one.